What's happening, guys? Sam Adams here, and welcome to The Drop, which is a weekly series I do right here on the channel every single Monday, where I go through the top video game releases of the week and let you guys know what new games are coming out, because there are a ton of games that come out every week, so it's nice to have kind of a highlights reel of the best, and this week is a pretty packed week, but it's kind of interestingly packed. We've got some indies, we've got a Mario game, we've got some things that are going different places, like to PS4 to PC, or from PC to Xbox One, stuff like that. Couple of those, and of course the big headliner for the week is Mafia 3, which I consider to be one of the biggest open world releases of this entire year. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it. Kicking things off this week, we have Aragami coming to the PlayStation 4 and the PC. Now, this is not origami as in the Japanese art style, but rather Aragami, just to make that clear. But Aragami is a third-person stealth game in which you control the shadows. Play as Aragami, an undead assassin with supernatural abilities. You, a once mighty warrior, have been summoned back from the dead by Yamiko, a noble girl from the sacred town of Kaioru, I believe is something along those lines, can't really pronounce that. How you were once defeated or any clear memories of your past are all fragmented. Make your way through the heavily guarded city with Yumiko by your side as you uncover memories from your past life and ultimately decipher your connection with your summoner. So what do I think about this game? Number one, it is an indie title, and number two, I want you to take note of the fact that in this trailer right here, it does look a little bit jumpy from time to time. That is not something that is in my post-production whenever I'm editing this video. This is actually how it looked on YouTube and how it looked in the official press kit that they put out on their website for people like me to use. So that being said, the game might be a little bit janky on hardware whenever it first comes out, so you might want to take note of that before you go out and purchase this one. That being said, I love the concept of this game. It's got kind of a stealth idea like Dishonored, but you pretty much stick to the shadows and assassinate guys in a variety of different ways, and one thing that is definitely worth noting is that there isn't one linear path for each individual level. You can do pretty much whatever you want as long as the enemies end up dead. That is the main goal of the game, and to get to your objective and find out what's going on within this story, as the description pretty much said. Now, speaking of the story, I'm not really sure what to expect from this one, but I'm not expecting much. I'm not expecting much depth, let's put it that way. Now, what I am expecting to see from Aragami is something similar to a narrative like Furies that came out earlier this year, F-U-R-I, a fantastic indie game. If you have not checked it out, I would definitely recommend it. It combines a lot of different art styles and play styles to make a really unique experience, but within that narrative, it was pretty much just deep enough to connect everyone together and give everyone a reason for why they were included within the story, and that's kind of what I'm expecting to see from Aragami. But now, the fact that you can do all of the objectives in different ways and kind of explore different tactics of getting through the level, that is something that is going to add a significant amount of replay value, especially if you enjoy the game that you're playing. So you could potentially squeeze 2 or 3 playthroughs out of this one individual purchase, which is something that I absolutely love, and if you enjoy the game, you can get a lot of enjoyment out of just a couple of bucks. All of that being said, Aragami is coming to the PS4 and the PC this week, and this is probably one of the best looking indie games that I've seen this year, although like I said, you might want to keep an eye on that hardware stuff whenever it first comes out, see if it is running well before you go out and purchase it. But if it is in fact running well, you might want to check this one out. Next up, we've got Dead Synchronicity. Tomorrow Comes Today, launching on the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One after spending about a year on the PC. A terrible pandemic is turning all of humanity into the dissolved, the sick whose delirium provide them with supernatural cognitive powers, but also steer them towards a gruesome death. The root of this illness seems to be the Great Wave, an inexplicable chain of natural disasters that destroyed all energy sources and communications and plunged the world into a chaos ruthlessly controlled by both the authorities and the army alike. So the player will have to help Michael, a man with no past, recover his identity and decode the events that brought the world to the edge of collapse, because if Michael doesn't hurry, he won't be able to avoid the impending moment of dead synchronicity when time itself dissolves. Now, like I said, it's launching on PS4 this week, and it's also been on the PC and the iPad, both of which I feel are better pieces of hardware to play this kind of experience on, because you can literally point and click with a mouse. You can use your finger to point and select where you want to go on the screen, and of course, this kind of game isn't necessarily technically demanding. You don't need a PlayStation 4 to play this game. It can definitely run on something like an iPad or an iPad mini, so if you have an iPad or if you have a PC, that is probably the best place to experience Dead Synchronicity if you did want to try it out. That being said, if you were a PlayStation 4 user, it's coming to this console this week. Next up, we've got Paper Mario Color Splash coming to the Wii U. A mystery is afoot on Prism Island, and only Paper Mario can solve it by restoring the island's vanishing colors with his new paint hammer and the powerful battle cards up his sleeve. These fresh layers of strategy, along with the hilarious action-adventure gameplay the series is known for, make this one of the most colorful Paper Mario action-adventure games ever. On top of that, a couple of bullet points that I found pretty notable. A hilarious action-adventure game set on the mysterious Prism Island is one of them, which, pretty much gives you an overview of the story. The paint hammer lets Mario restore the drained color of Prism Island, color in colorless spots to solve puzzles and search for clues, revive toads who have been drained of their color, which is pretty much what you're seeing in this trailer right here. A new battle card system. Cleverly use battle cards during puzzling battles to defeat enemies, summon objects with things cards, use enemy cards to summon allies, which is kind of, I don't understand that. Why wouldn't it be ally cards? The new cutout feature allows you to extract areas from environments to overcome obstacles whenever possible. Very cool. You see this in the trailer. There is a mountain out in the distance, and literally you have to bridge a gap, so you just cut the little hill out, and you use it right where you need it. That's what I love about Paper Mario. It doesn't take itself too seriously, and if something doesn't make sense, it could make sense within the game itself. Now, one thing that the Paper Mario kind of sub-franchise, I guess is how I see it, does very well, is that it brings new ideas into an IP that is often kind of considered stale, because Mario has been around since the beginning of gaming, and so if they continuously did the same thing over and over again year after year without adding any kind of new idea to it, people would definitely get tired of it. But with Color Splash, you've got the paint hammer, which is kind of like a Super Mario Sunshine thing, where instead of cleaning up like oil or grease or whatever that black was all over the island, you literally are painting back where little splotches have gone missing. That is a great idea, a great concept, and it's definitely a throwback to old school fans of like Super Mario Sunshine and stuff like that. Now on top of that, you got this new battle card system, a lot of innovation going on here, and on top of all of that, a new 2D, 3D art style that looks incredible on the Wii U, and it's not something that I've really seen from Paper Mario before, so if you do have a Wii U and you're looking for a new game, this is definitely one to keep your eye on, and it's coming out this week. Next up, Warhammer Vermintide is coming to the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. The world is ending, though few believe it. The once proud city of Uberstrike now stands in ruin at the hands of the dreaded Skaven army. Few have survived their ruthless invasion. Team up with 3 friends and work together to thin out the Ratman's forces and drive them out of the city. Assume the role of one of 5 heroes and hack, slash, smash, burn, and pierce the vile Skaven using a multitude of weapons at your disposal. This is our last stand, and only you can stem the Vermintide. So with Vermintide on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, aka Warhammer Vermintide, it is a cooperative action first-person shooter that is heavily reliant on co-op. If you plan on playing this game, please find a squad of 3 friends and take this thing on together, because it is a heavily cooperative experience. You do not want to do this alone. Not really even sure if it's possible. I haven't played it. Probably not. That being said, what exactly is included with this release? Because it did come out on PC, I believe, earlier this year. 18 diverse levels spanning an immersive story set during the cataclysmic events of the end times. But with this particular release, all DLC thus far for the PC version of the game is included on all platforms. So you're getting the most complete version of Warhammer Vermintide that has been released to date. Now, like I think I mentioned, according to the developers, this game is known for its challenging nature, so pack your patience before you jump into it. You don't want to be like me whenever I play Dark Souls, because I've literally come close to breaking my controller that I use for that game. I'm not good at Dark Souls games whatsoever. Last but not least, we have Mafia III coming to the PC, PS4, and Xbox One. I cannot believe this game is already coming out. This year has gone by so quickly. After years of combat in Vietnam, Lincoln Clay knows the truth. Family isn't who you're born with, it's who you die for. Now back home in New Bordeaux, Lincoln is set on escaping a criminal past, but when his surrogate family, the Black Mob, is betrayed and wiped out by the Italian Mafia, Lincoln builds a new family on the ashes of the old and blazes a path of military-grade revenge through those responsible. Intense gunfights, visceral hand-to-hand combat, white-knuckle driving, and street smarts will all be needed. But with the right crew, tough decisions, and some dirty hands, it's possible to make it to the top of the city's underworld. Now, right off the bat, whoever wrote that description for Mafia 3 should get a promotion, because that is a fantastic description of what you're going to be doing in the game, what kind of action is going to be included with the story, without giving anything away as to big plot points. They did very well with that. Now, as far as the game goes, I loved Mafia 2. I played the demo very extensively before I actually bought the final game, and all in all, I probably put between 20 and 30 hours into the final game that I bought. And I have to say that I was pretty impressed with the open world, but because of the hardware that it was running on at the time, the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360, it was just kind of empty after you finish the story, for lack of a better word. But now with the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One and PCs doing what they can these days, this game is going to be absolutely massive, and 2K has definitely shown us that they are doing that. And congratulations to the guys over at Hangar 13, I believe is what it was called, yeah, because this is their first game with 2K, and I think they've done pretty well with it so far. But now this game takes place in one of my favorite time periods ever, and that is the late 1960s, specifically 1968, which included events such as Nixon's elections, Martin Luther King was assassinated, Led Zeppelin's first performance. There is a ton of history within 1968, and to be able to parallel that along with the story that's going on in New Bordeaux, the fictional city, I think that is a very well done and a well-placed move overall. Now, another thing is that the soundtrack looks to be absolutely incredible. It features over 100 songs by bands like the Beach Boys, Creedence Clearwater Revival, Jefferson Airplane, the Rolling Stones, Steppenwolf. This is literally every band that I love. This is going to be an incredible soundtrack. I'm definitely going to be listening to this for hours on end on Spotify, just because it's pretty much a conglomeration of what the 60s represented as far as music goes. And to be able to do all these Mafia-style things along with Creedence Clearwater Revival and the Rolling Stones, that is going to be a great experience for a lot of people that love the time period like myself. Now, Mafia 3 does look to be one of the biggest fall releases of the year, and it's definitely one of the most anticipated games of this entire gaming season. That being said, review copies were not sent out, which can mean a lot of things. It could mean that they're so proud of their game that they don't feel like they need to send out review copies, or it could be a steaming pile of we're not really sure yet, and we won't know until this game comes out later this week. However, just keep that in mind whenever you're planning your purchase, if you do plan on picking this one up on the PC, PlayStation 4, or the Xbox One. So there you guys have it. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you did, share it on Twitter, Instagram, Yik Yak, whatever you use for social media. Share my face on there and get this channel growing. And if you happen to be new to the channel, please head over there and check out some of my other content, because I do upload new stuff like 3 or 4 days a week, depending on the week. So there's always something new right here when you stop by to watch some videos. But as for right now, I'm probably going to go play some Overwatch, because I've been playing that a good bit lately. And I will talk to you soon. Peace.